This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. It's first day of autumn. It's an autumnal day. I'm going to handle the first portion until Charity finds the new picture we're going to put up on our Twitter account. We're going to update that.
It's fine. I think I know what picture.
Send it along. I'll upload it during the podcast just to show everybody how long it takes me to do things like that. Send it to my Gmail account.
Your voice sounds a lot better today.
Does it?
I was worried about you yesterday. It sounds...
It's so nice of you.
It sounds better today. A little more even.
I know what happens because I did the COVID test. And it came back negative, but positive for annoying, which I apologize for after I found out about the picture from McDonald's that they took and put up on socials.
Whatever.
Of me with the sign in front of your face. Like, I will do anything to steal the thunder from you. I know that. That's my greatest weakness. But to actually have the radio station conspire is not good.
Well, now you've pulled Emily in. That's
what I mean. Like,
you've
now,
pulled Emily over to the dark side, and now she's getting into it. But no, the two of you are just jerks. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's bad enough I do it now when people go, oh, that's funny. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Oh, it was.
And I think being a schlep is my shtick. Emily, get your own. Because she's the nicest. Like, you're all just the nicest people in the world. I don't want to be accused of infecting everybody with my, why can't you just stand and smile for the picture, Mark? Nope.
Why do you have to do that, Mark?
Got to do something.
It was pretty funny, though. I'm not going to lie. And I did make the comment. These events, I love doing stuff like yesterday, being out for the Alzheimer's Society, and we've been out for McHappy Day, and we're going out later today for the Smile Cookies, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But I love doing it. And as much as it's great to be out raising money and support and awareness for these groups, it's almost as big a job now to get the picture as it is for being out there.
You're right. Yeah. It's not
enough. You gotta get a picture.
Not enough just to be out there. You have to have a picture to prove you were out there. And the thing is about...
and it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Because by us posting stuff, we're promoting it and encouraging people to come down. But yeah, it's all about the reaction. It's all about the picture.
But it's not as if we only took one photo. So of all the photos we took, that's the one they choose?
Well, no, the other one's up there too.
Oh, is it? Okay, yes. Good. All right.
It's like a series. It's like the nice one and then the kind of offside and then the one where you guys are being jerks.
When they should have realized.
It progresses.
Don't get on film what Mark's about to do next, because that's when he turns around and starts... Like, for example, I pointed out their sign there that I want to be, you know how there's McDreamy and McSteamy? I want to be McCrispy because I'm juicy and fresh too.
Exactly.
Like, that's what I want. And apparently that was over the line.
Well,
all right.
And to be fair, by the time we got out there, number one, you and I had spent way too much time together.
There is a limit.
And number two, we kind of have to remind people sometimes our workday is different than most. So by the time we're out there, we're kind of at the end of the day. Yeah. And most people, you show me someone who at the end of their workday, at the end of the day, isn't a bit punchy, borderline delirious.
Out in public?
Out in public. They're gonna be a little, but we had fun.
I had a good time.
It was
Funniest part, though, was when you were getting money from a very generous guy who gave money. And I said, hey, you be careful there. I'm her muscle. And he laughed.
He howled. Like, it was like a gut. It was a guffaw. It was, what's that word? I don't want to say, guttural. It was a guttural noise. It was very like, loud.
Wow.
And enthusiastic.
You couldn't protect her from a bag in the wind. Probably not. But I'd try. Oh, sir.
But kudos to Angela and the crew out there, and looking forward to hearing how much there was a bit of a rivalry between us and North Front Street.
North Front Street, yeah.
So I'm interested because I asked her. I said, when you know the total, we would love to hear it. And if it can be broken down by location, that would be nice too.
We trounced them in our hour. I know we did.
Oh, I know. We were ahead when we left.
Yeah.
When we left, we were ahead.
Lots of generous people. Late morning, early lunch. It was great.
I love it. It makes me feel great when I see people throw a 20 in.
Yep. Or want to do that tap. Yeah. The whole thing. Because it's not real money.
There was one gentleman, he was from the hospital. He had just come off shift and he tapped it a couple of times because it was a $5 tap, right? Yeah. So he did it a couple of times as he went through, which is
nice.
Awesome.
And if you do it that way too, it shows up on your credit card that you can scan and that can be your tax receipt.
Boom.
True story.
Done.
They accept that now. So Nice. So that's going on. Then we're gonna get into the Smile Cookies because our Galaxy of Games this morning, we played the high-low game. And we read this really interesting story from Dunnville. Now, Dunnville is south of Cayuga. So when Cayuga is the reference point geographically,
I don't even know where that is.
Dunnville's got to be small. Yeah. South of the Golden Horseshoe of like Hamilton to Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Then you go south till you get to Lake Erie.
Okay.
So it's south of Welland, and you follow it along there.
All right.
So eventually you'd get to Port Dover, but you're not that far along yet. You're up a little bit up the lake on that. Dunnville, 6,000 people. They have one Tim Hortons. In that Tim Hortons, they sell 48,000 Smile Cookies in the week.
7 days.
There is no Tim Hortons location anywhere in Canada, not in Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, that has super high traffic that sells anywhere near 48,000.
Well, and I broke it down. So they would have to make 6,857 cookies a day, which goes down
and sell them all.
286 cookies an hour.
Over a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
Every hour.
Every hour, they're making, if not selling, all of 286 cookies an hour to fit in 48,000 cookies in a week in a 7-day period.
That's 4 to 5 cookies a minute they would have to sell. They would have to make a cookie every 15 seconds.
It's crazy.
12 seconds.
When you break it down like that, because we asked them what's the largest order they've ever made for one person. And that was incredible. And
big number.
Yeah. When we called them, they gave us that.
We thought we would call, and Ashley, and I thought we really whiffed on it because it rang a long time.
Well, it's 7:30 in the morning.
At a Tim Hortons.
At a Tim Hortons. So they're busy anyway, but it's Smile Cookie Week.
It is. And Ashley picked up the phone.
Dunville, Martin's Ashley speaking.
Hey, Ashley, how are you? It's Mark and Charity Mornings at 95.5 Hits FM Radio in Belleville, Ontario. What's going on this morning?
Oh, not much. Just selling some cookies.
Well, you know
That's what we want to hear.
We understand you sell more Smile Cookies than any location in this entire country of ours. Is that true?
It has been for the past 4 years. So
That's
we're hoping to make it number 5.
That's incredible, Ashley. We have to ask, what is your secret?
Just a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
I guess so.
And a lot of volunteers. We get a lot of volunteers to help us.
Okay.
You must be making cookies literally 24/7 all week long.
We do. We bake all day, all night, and
Charity and I
this weekend.
Charity and I are going to be decorating Smile Cookies for an hour, which will seem excruciating for us to be working for an hour.
For the workers, I think.
What's the secret? What's the secret to making and decorating the best Smile Cookies?
A technique we should know about?
I don't think there's any particular way. Just make sure that your fondant is at a good temperature, and that's it, basically.
Okay. Blue for the eyes, pink for the smile.
Yep.
Okay, good. We'll check that off.
Don't let them touch when they're still hot, because then they stick together in the bag.
Right. You have to let them cool. And
you use a special love flower. That's what you use, right? There's a special flower in your cookies that we don't have here in Belleville.
Maybe.
I know you sell thousands this week, but what is the largest one order you have ever done?
Ever? Like in the hundreds.
Really?
Somebody will come in and say, I want 200 Smile Cookies. And you're like, back up the truck.
We would do it. We wouldn't even fret about it.
Wow,
Oh my
you're the
gosh.
best people. Like Dunnville on the shores of Lake Erie, Ontario's nicest community today. And do you know where does all of that, because that's $48,000 staying in your community. Do you know where that money goes?
All the money goes to the Hospital and Healthcare Foundation.
Oh.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
If I'm ever traveling and I get hurt, I hope I'm in Dunnville.
Yeah. What a
Because I know
community.
they got a Tim Hortons.
Yes, that
Thank
raises
you.
this kind of money. Smile Cookie Week.
Thank
That's
you so
incredible.
much for picking up the phone during a busy morning rush to share that with us. We'll snap some pictures of our Smile Cookies so that you can peruse them and send back very weak.
You can critique them for us.
Yes. Bye, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley.
Okay, bye.
So 200 cookies for one order. Who buys 200 cookies?
And she says, and we don't even blink.
Yeah. We'll get it done. It's not even that
that's
big a
so
deal.
good.
200 cookies.
This was kind of crazy. I talked about where it's located, just south of the Golden Horseshoe. Then I read an article yesterday that said some people concerned about Smile Cookies, but not for the reason you think. And I thought, okay, first of all, what would be the reason I would think? But it turns out that the answer was some restaurants, and they might be what we would call the corporate ones that maybe aren't part of a franchise, because locally we have franchise owners.
Yes.
You know, the Hanleys, for example, and others. They have changed the price to $2 a cookie. And that shocked people because it's not at all of them. And it's not, it might be a test balloon. They weren't sure, but they said since money is going to quote unquote charities and programs, that's a way to get more money out. Yeah, but then it would cost Tim Hortons less to make them, right? Because it's half the batter. For, you know, if you wanted to make $100, you got to make 100 cookies. Now you don't have to make 50. Anyway, the point is,
I think they would still make as many cookies, hoping to sell them for $200, and that's what I don't like. I don't like that.
You don't mess with something that works.
You've got a good thing. People will buy a cookie for $1.
Yeah.
You put it up to $2, and they're going to think about it. They're going to hesitate, no matter what the cause is. It's not going to be, who's going to go and buy 5 cookies? Like, they would have spent the $10 and bought 10 cookies.
Yes.
They're not going to spend $10 and buy 5 cookies.
I don't think they will.
No.
I agree with you. In fact, Monday, I was the first one in at the one on Dundas Central. It's like, there are 3 on Dundas here in Belleville. There's Dundas West, where we'll be, Dundas Central, which is near the Bay Bridge, Dundas East, which is up at the Bayview Mall. They had the whole rack. I didn't know if they would have them yet. They probably had 50 ready, so I bought 5 because there's 5 of us here in the morning.
$5.
For $5. That was easy.
Yep.
You're right. If that had run me the 10, because I was getting you a coffee, I got change from the $10 bill. Now, if I have to reach my wallet for more, I say, okay, I'll get 3 cookies and a coffee, and I won't tell. Who won't I tell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm thinking differently.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, but it's the change factor too, right? You're more. There's a $10 bill, so you get 10 cookies with a $10 bill. You get 5 cookies. It's like, okay, I need more back. Or even if you buy a dozen cookies,
now 24.
Exactly. So now you need change, and it just. It's so much easier if you have it at $1, and people will buy. Clearly, as we saw in Dunnville, people will buy the $1 cookies.
Like a cookie. And we've never blinked. We all pay it.
Exactly.
Because that makes sense to us. Now you've made us think about it. Now you've made us. So if this is a test balloon, please listen to the Mark and Charity Coffee podcast and say that this isn't a good idea. Because when Steve Jobs was alive for Apple, and he envisioned iTunes, and it showed it in the movie, the very good one, not the one with Ashton Kutcher, but the other one with Michael Fassbender, who played him. And he was trying to reconcile with his daughter at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, it's an old movie. And she's always walking around with a Walkman. And she talks about, like, why are you so driven? Why are you so, like, why did you never spend time with the family? I think it had something to do with that. He said, because I always want to make everything better for everybody. And he points at her Walkman. He says, and I'm going to replace that thing. And it's going to be smaller, and it's going to hold 1,000 songs. And she's like, why would anybody want that? And he says, because songs are going to be 99 cents. And throughout the growth of iTunes, the board on Apple kept saying, $1.29. We've done surveys that said people will pay $1.29. He said, no, 99 cents. People will pay 99 cents happily and never pirate.
Yep.
You make it $1.29, there are going to be some people that say, okay, well, wait a minute, 10 songs, $10, or with plus tax, right?
Exactly.
Now you're being like, wait a minute, $1.29. Okay, now I got to spend almost 20. No, I'm going to go back on to Napster or whatever it was, LimeWire, and rip them off.
Find a different way to get it.
He knew that that sweet spot is we can get all their money at 99 cents a song. You move it to $1.29. Now you're creating, all of a sudden, Google's got a music service, and YouTube's got a music, because Apple began to price themselves out. He saw that coming. This is the same thing. We're all paying $1 and we're all happy.
Yeah.
Why are you messing with it? So don't let the money people in the head office start taking over the marketing of why this thing works.
Well, and quite honestly, that's what it comes down to. And I hate to say it, but it's greed.
Yeah.
People, it's awful. I realize all the proceeds go to charity, and that's wonderful. And of course, people want to give. But if you start upping the price, they're going to look at that and think, why do I have to give more? Like, I'm already giving. I don't need to give more. If you're asking me, then it kind of takes away some of the want to give.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, we look forward to it because it's only $1. And now we're faced with smileFlation. That's what it is.
It is.
Cookieflation.
It really is. Yes,
And,
we want to support these organizations and we want to help them.
Sure I do.
But when you come at me and say, okay, now we're going to raise it to 2 and we're going to sell just as many cookies and we're going to make so much more money and that doesn't feel as good to me.
You've doubled the price. It's not like you $1.25. You doubled the price.
Exactly.
So please don't do that. And so keep it in Hamilton or wherever, because I think Hamilton had one of them. It might even be the original Tim Hortons location. Was trying it to see what would happen, and it was getting just skewered on social media.
I hope so. Yeah. I really do.
Because they're all like, "Don't mess with something that works, please. It's fun for charities, and we like it." Now you've made it something else.
Exactly.
You've made it another reason for me to get mad about big business.
Yeah.
When it was just something fun for charities for a week, and now look. So anyway, that's so that was going on. So thank you, Ashley, very much for picking that up. 48,000. Smile Cookies. Charity and I are going to be at the Dundas West location at the Shell station there.
Yes.
And I'm not as worried this year as I was last year because I wasn't sure.
Why were you worried?
Were you looking at the pictures from last year? We did a very good job.
I thought we did an excellent job. You made a good point. You have to be careful when they're warm. Because I did find last year some of them were a little warm when we went to do it. They give
you one of those really fancy baker's squishy bags, right?
The icing bags, yeah.
And it has to be warm.
I wouldn't say it's that fancy looking at it now, but
I know,
yes,
it seemed
you're right.
fancy to me.
Yeah, because they have to warm the icing.
Got to be warm so it can come out. And it's baby blue for the eyes and pink for the smile. And then it start halfway up, one smile, and then use the same curvature of the cookie just above. And it is. And you laugh like it's an art. Until you go on social media and see people show horrible smile cookies that were done by people
seen some.
Like you and I, that's not their day job. They get a police chief in there, they get some local celebrity or somebody, and it's like awful. It's
We
terrible.
think we're helping out.
We think we're helping out. We think they're going to look good.
Yeah.
You might want to spend $2, but we're not going to ask you to. They're only going to be $1.
Only $1. But there was one. I saw this. You want to talk about people going to social media?
I know it's terrible. It's like, who thinks that that's a smile?
I saw. So they've documented it all week. So they buy a cookie every day.
Right.
And they take a picture and they put it up. And the first couple have been perfect. But then yesterday, this one comes up. And they caption it with, okay, so today's smile cookie brought a bit of a different emotion. Not so much one of fancy, more of a sad, humorous state of affairs. Clearly they could have done better, but I have no idea what the worker was feeling at the time. Tough day, end of shift, who knows? Hopefully today's showers bring more sunshine. But it's kind of...
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of...
It was like Mr. Bill put on his own makeup.
And it made me laugh because I'm like, by the end of your shift, especially if you're in Dunnville and you've made 1,000 cookies that day, I'm sure by the end of the day, you're just like...
Yeah, because I know how long it takes to do a cookie. It's a good 15 seconds to do the cookie. That's nonstop decorating too. That's what's crazy. They're not just coming out and then you put them on a tray. You got to decorate. Oh wow, that's just and they're happy to do it.
Yeah,
nicest people.
But we are not experienced, and we don't by any means say that we are experts when it comes to. We step into someone else's shoes for a little bit. So if you do get a questionable cookie today,
you're welcome.
Yes, enjoy.
It was absolutely.
It was
decorated
made with love.
With love, absolutely, and our hardest work. It's the hardest thing we're going to do today. This stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But smile cookies, that's great. What else going on? What else did we do this morning?
What else did we do this morning?
That was
it really was about smile cookies, I'd say, and fall.
And throwback. Yeah,
and
fall.
Throwback,
Fall's big. You are unaware of the fact that autumnal is one of my favorite words. I'm sorry that I am.
I've never heard you use that word.
I love using that word.
Now, do you want to give the meaning of it for those who may not?
It is the descriptor, so therefore the adjective of autumn, something that is reminiscent or descriptive of autumn is autumnal. So the equinox, for example, is the autumnal equinox. That's a very nice autumnal sweater. If it was burnt orange or something, you dress autumnal.
Would this not be
It is. It's
considered?
Autumnal. It's very autumnal. And it's just a great sounding word. And so Charity has, and this is what's going to happen, our next full-on staff meeting challenged me to say autumnal as many times as I can, and then we've laid bets on which one of our staff members is going to jump in. This is what we do.
Acknowledge it, that you're using it, but perhaps also ask what it means. And then I also believe I know who's going to step in.
Yeah. This is why we're universally disliked in this radio station. It's like we use them all.
No, we just know our coworkers really well.
True.
But that word I think would be funny. It would be funny to me. It would be our joke for you to use it during the meeting.
Why does he keep saying that?
Exactly.
And what does it mean?
See how long it takes.
Because
you went on a tangent this morning with it. Because we were doing, not trivia, but fun little facts. And I had asked you the question, what term do you like? Because fall is a North American term that we use for this time of year, where autumn is used more by the British. It is the British term for this season.
You know what? I'm not surprised.
And then you jump in with your blah, 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 blah.
So do we call it fall because that's what happens to the leaves? Like where? I think that's where it came from.
Because it used to be harvest. This used to be referred to as
harvest season,
and a lot of people still do. The farmers, of course, still refer to it because
so between summer and winter was harvest.
Yes, because you take the crops off. And
I know that. That's
the
great.
full moon of September is known as the harvest moon, and we had that a few weeks ago. And but you like your autumnal. I can't even say it.
Autumnal.
Autumnal.
See, that doesn't surprise me that in North America we dumb down the language.
Of course we do. We're lazy.
Autumn.
We're incredibly lazy. If it's a shorter word and it's easier to say.
500 years ago, William Shakespeare absolutely epitomized what was beautiful about the English language. Mm-hmm. And 500 years later, we laugh when somebody says, "Get her done." Right?
Yes, we do.
Like, go read Romeo and Juliet and the poetry of the English language, and now we're
beautiful.
Like, hey.
It's a beautiful language. Absolutely. You're right.
And now this is what we do with it.
And I think that's maybe why we like that accent so much.
I know, I do.
Anything an English person says just sounds better to me. It just sounds, they could say "get her done" and it would sound.
But they never would.
No, but if they did, it would sound.
We would say
more elegant.
"Get her done," and they'd say, "I choose to finish this."
Exactly.
That's what they would say,
exactly.
And I would say, "I respect that."
Yep.
So good.
And it's funny you say "get her done" because I remember early on when I was doing this, I had a speech expert. So what words to avoid using if you want to sound more knowledgeable. Mm-hmm. Get was the number one word.
Get? Oh.
She hated it. And she said, that is a lazy word. You don't need to use. So I am very aware when I use that word. Mm-hmm. When I'm writing, when I'm speaking, I try to use something else. So if I have to get something from the grocery store, I'm going to go pick up, or I'm going to go buy, or I will buy, like, instead of using get.
Wow.
That always stuck with me because, it's a lazy word.
Thank you.
Get.
I'm going to do my best.
Get out of here. Go away. Be gone with you.
This podcast is over. I'm done with this. We must go forth and decorate smile cookies.
Yes.
That local charities may benefit from our efforts. 'Tis the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. We have Getting Her Done. And we're done for today. Coming up tomorrow, speaking of the British, to wrap up what has been the week of mourning, much has been made about the fact that the royal family does not pay inheritance tax. When the Queen passed away and moved $28 billion of their fortune around to other people within the family.
Do you know what the tax is?
No. What percentage?
I believe it's 40%.
Yeah. So that would have been about $10 billion they would have lost. So they get to keep that. But for that $28 billion, they're not even in the 10 richest families in Britain. Like, they're not even in the top 10.
No.
Some names you've never heard of and why they have their money that we never even thought of is coming up tomorrow morning.
I really haven't heard. Well, there was one family I had heard of.
Yeah.
In that top 10. The rest are just.
But you gave me the number one. It was like two brothers that own a bunch of stuff.
And see who they were.
And the amount of money they've got and how
they
made that kind of money. It's crazy. So that's coming up tomorrow. We'll have your dad joke in there and lots more for a busy weekend with Porch Fest coming up. And the Hospice Quinte Car Rally and Artisan Market is going on Saturday. So we're going to do a rapid fire of all the stuff going on in the Quinte region. If you're going to be in the area, you're going to love it this weekend. It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Here, wherever you get your favorite podcast, just subscribe. We get it up by about 11 o'clock in the morning. Join us tomorrow morning here on 95.5 Hits FM. Have a great day.